It's been just over 600 days since BF1 launched. I'm not sure about you, but I still remember seeing the reveal trailer for the first time. It still impresses me today. Not everyone loved BF1, it certainly went in a slightly different direction compared to some older Battlefield games, but I still think it was a lot of fun regardless, especially after some tweaks and changes, much like with what happened to BF4. That being said, the game is coming towards the end of its life now. In October this year, the next game, Battlefield 5, is going to release, and when it does, I don't think I'll be able to come back to BF1 all that often, if I'm being honest. Just the idea of having a more skill-based shooter with less spotting and actual gun mechanics is a dream to me, and the thought of going back to BF1 after playing that, well, it would be tough. Of course, there's still a number of months before October, so we've got plenty of time left with BF1, and that's still going to be our main Battlefield fix. But today, BF1 has received what will be the final monthly patch, and maybe the last patch full stop. Development on the new game has been in full swing, and even still, we've been getting regular BF1 content drops with new weapons and updates. And this last patch is no different, as it comes with a couple of new weapons for us to get stuck into. More on that in a second. First up though, we've got a new game mode. Well, sort of. It's called Shock Operations, and as the name would suggest, it's still an operation but with a bit of a difference. Shock Operations is a one-map operation designed to give players the experience of an operations map but with a much shorter playtime. I'm not sure if this was already released once before as a limited time game mode or maybe on the CTE. It does ring a bell, so maybe it's been in the game before. But anyways, what's more is that it's available on maps that previously had not been in an operation, so Giant Shadow, Predator Her, Lubkow Pass, Zeebrugge and River Somme. Now all of those maps are DLC maps, however a couple are already free for everyone. Thankfully, when it comes to Shock Operations, it doesn't matter if you own the DLC, as you can still play it. So for Shock Operations, you don't need the DLCs related to the names to be able to play, so you can jump in with friends regardless. A nice touch, I think. Interestingly, it's also a 40-player game mode rather than 64 like Operations is. If you remember when BF1 first launched, there used to be an option between 40 and 64-player Operations when you were searching, but DICE then changed it so that 64 was the only available option, and I think their reasoning for that was because it was extending matchmaking times. So for me, it's good to see that this lower player count is back with Shock Operations, because being honest, sometimes some of the Operations maps I do find 64 players a bit too much. It's going to be interesting to go back down to 40 and see how it feels. And then we've got plenty of new weapons to get our hands on as well, the first of those being the new Burton LMR. I did a video a while ago mentioning the Burton LMR, and it's finally here. One thing that you can't do is claim the Burton is boring or generic, because it's extremely unique. It's got two magazines pointing upwards in a V shape, which has to be said, does obscure your view a little bit, and I imagine it was a lot worse in real life, but there's the obvious link there between BFV, BF5, V for Victory, etc. Now this weapon was designed to be mounted on planes, but it did have some infantry uses as well. One of the most unique parts of this weapon is its ability to change ammo types. You can use it with standard ammo, but also incendiary ammo, at first for BF1. And this incendiary ammo though is designed to be used against aircraft really, but you can still use it against infantry if you wish. It will however do less damage than the standard ammo. It's of course a support weapon, and it fires at 830 rounds per minute, so it's pretty fast firing as well. It's got two variants, trench and optical, so I played with this for a while, and I have to tell you, it shreds people. It's got pretty good accuracy even when firing it really fast, and I just really enjoyed using this gun. Surprisingly, the V-shaped magazine didn't cause me too much bother either to get used to it, and after using the gun for a while I kind of forgot that they were there, blocking my view. Now the incendiary ammo definitely does less damage against infantry, so don't be expecting to just run around turning everyone into the Human Torch, because that would be a bit overpowered, wouldn't it? Although pretty fun. But you can change between incendiary and standard ammo with the standard weapon fire select button. Next up is the M1911 Silenced. Now you don't need me to tell you how many 1911 variants we already have in BF1, I've lost count if I'm honest. There are so many that honestly they only look or perform slightly different to each other. This one is a bit different though, because it has a suppressor on the end, or silenced, and well, who doesn't like a silenced weapon? There's just something extremely cool about using a silenced gun in BF1, or any game for that matter, especially a pistol as iconic and stylish as the M1911. I would love to see a few silenced weapons in BF5 though, because there hasn't been enough in BF1 for my liking, although that does have a lot to do with the setting, and they did use suppressors more often in World War II. We also get a few new weapon variants as well, including the Annihilator Storm. We've already got two Thompson variants in the game, the M1919 SMG and the Annihilator Trench, but now we get the Annihilator Storm. sounds like a kid's toy. Honestly, there isn't a whole lot of difference between this one and the other two. The Storm variant gives it less recoil, but the truth is, in most situations with the Tommy gun, you're so up close and personal that I doubt you're going to notice that recoil improvement. It's not often that you aim down the sights with this gun because the visual recoil is just so heavy. Also, the trench version has better hipfire, and well, it's a hipfire weapon, and you're going to be doing that a lot with this gun, so it's great to see another variant. Choice is good, I guess, but I don't think you're going to be noticing a big difference with this weapon. Interestingly, the tank and pilot weapons are now being brought across to the base classes as primary weapons. I like this. They're being split between the assault and support class, with the support class getting the majority of them. I wonder if that's to increase support use, maybe. Assault gets the from a stop auto pistol, probably a good fit because it's a really fast firing weapon and Assault already has plenty of those, so the from a stop will fit there nicely. Assault also gets the sawed off double barreled shotgun, really looking forward to using that. Support on the other hand gets quite a big list: the C96 carbine, P08 artillery, the Piper revolving carbine, the 1911 extended, the MLE 1903 extended, and the C93 carbine. See what I mean? Support finally getting some love in this game. Now, I feel like this is an important patch for BF1 because it's almost certainly the last major one. I did a video yesterday in which I played BF1 for the first time since I got back from EA Play, where I'd been playing a lot of BF5, and it's honestly pretty hard to go back to BF1 now. And I think as we start to get the alpha and beta of BF5, that's only going to get a lot harder. I think once BF5 does release later this year, coming back to play BF1 is going to be extremely tough. They're just so different in so many ways, and arguably I think BF5 is actually doing a lot of things better than BF1 did, promoting team play and a much more challenging environment. BF1 ultimately offered up something different. We're never going to get a game like it again, and it was definitely beautiful, but it was a more accessible experience. Sniping was made easier, and honestly when I played Shock Operations, the one thing I noticed was just how many people were running around using the Annihilator Trench, holding Mouse on their way to glory. I swear at least half of the enemy team were using them on Predator Her at one point, and I wish that was an exaggeration. When you've got really fast firing weapons like that with no real recoil and the ability to move fast and hit fire, that's what you're going to get. Hopefully in BF5 the recoil of the weapons will lead to better gunfights and more tactical gameplay rather than just picking the fastest firing weapon, holding mouse 1 and running around in circles. We'll see. And also finally, there's been a big Easter egg drop in this game. On Passchendaele, some of the members of the Easter egg Discord have found an underground tunnel. To access the tunnel you have to enter a code as Morse code into 2 plungers, and then you go in there and it drops you down. There's a whole network of tunnels underneath, and then it's kind of like a puzzle where if you press the wrong thing, smoke and gas fills up the tunnels and kills you. So pretty insane, but I'm guessing there's going to be some epic reward at the end of it rather than just a dog tag or a skin. I'm hoping this will give you a weapon. Fingers crossed. I don't have much time at the moment, unfortunately, to get involved with that, but whenever the Battlefield Easter egg Discord do discover everything, I'll be sure to cover it in a tutorial video. And that's all for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. Thank you very much. If you didn't like it, dislike it.